Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for Wednesday, June 15th. So I'm a day late because typically, I would have released a video yesterday morning, but I'm here, right? So that counts. Um, I am also going to be releasing another video tomorrow morning, taking a look at, democracy and can it be saved and are we salvaging it? I think that's just a sort of a broader overview question, but I want to take a look at that. So today, though, however, we're going to concentrate on, the hearings and sort of a few sidebars. Before I get to that, to my new subscribers, thank you so much for joining the Soulprint experience. I hope you enjoy it. To my established subscribers, I adore you. Thank you. To the commenters, lovely, the thumbs up, so appreciated. There have been a couple of comments showing up saying things like, my Republican neighbor's family, best friend, whatever, has started watching the hearings, and wow, are they ever getting mad because, they didn't realize that was going on. If there are those of you out there who would like to share those kinds of comments, please feel free. I think it encourages all of us to know that there are people out there who are receptive and absorbing the real reality. Um, so thank you for that. For those of you interested in a private reading, I am currently booking last week of June and into July. So if you're interested in that, there is in the Dropbox below, there's an email, soulprint888 at gmail.com. Just send me off an email and I will send you the information that you need. Okay, um, so we all remember, because it was a few weeks ago, when Madison Cawthorn really started getting put through the ringer by that, I can't remember what it's called, American MuckRocks or something, but they're the ones that kind of dig up the dirt and they really go after some of these more radical Republicans. They are a Republican group, if I'm not mistaken. And once they went after him and they started digging up stuff, well, it didn't take very long for him to lose. I think he was being primary, but whatever that election was a little while ago, he lost it. He's out. Well, they're doing the same thing now to Lauren Boebert. And just in the last 24 hours, maybe, the attacks are starting to come out on her. Now, I will caveat this by saying that none of the more reputable, if you will, news agencies have been able to confirm this information, but they're also quick to say that all the stuff on Madison Cawthorn was accurate. So what they're talking about is the fact that for a while, she worked for, or was part of, I guess, SugarDaddiesMeat.com. And over that time frame, if I'm not mistaken, she ended up having 2 abortions. This is the thing. You have a woman right now who is screaming hypocritically about how women don't have a right over their own body and over their own reproductive system. And their career shouldn't matter to them as much as, the blessings of raising a family. Except apparently that doesn't apply in her personal life. So this is the beginning. One can only imagine what is going to eventually come out. The other thing that's sort of interesting is while she was with Sugar Daddy's Meat, she was taken by a member of the Koch family to some deal in Aspen where she met Ted Cruz, who then not only did he donate significantly to her election campaign, but he's the one that encouraged her to run. So now we all know who we can blame for the fact that Lo and Bobert is in our consciousness. It just keeps getting more and more interesting, people. You couldn't write this stuff if you tried, I'm telling you. So let's take a look at the hearings. So as you can tell from my tagline, my title, the biggest thing that really came out yesterday or Tuesday, Monday, I don't know, I've lost track of my days, Monday, I guess, was Bill Barr said that, Donald Trump was really detached from reality. The other phrase that came up that I really, really quite liked was this willing blindness, right? So it didn't matter what was being told to him. He only wanted to hear what he wanted to hear. And that was repeated several times in several different ways by several different people. And so it really does go to prove that Trump has the remarkable ability to gaslight himself, right? I mean, and I think that we've been saying that for a really long time. The two things that have been consistently said is this. One, he's in it for the money. It's all about the money. It has nothing to do with anything else. It is the money because it is the money that feeds his ego and gives him his sense of successful self. Secondly, while he may have known what was truth right around the election, as time went on, he believed his own press. And so interesting that from Monday's hearings, the two sort of consistent things that, I mean, I know I've been saying it, but I think a lot of other readers have been saying it too, really did come to the fore. And tomorrow, Thursday, I think they're having another one, and I think it's in the morning. And apparently that one is going to focus on Pence and what was going on there. So super interesting. So I want to take a look kind of in just a general way at the impact that the hearings are having. So let me go pick up my cards that went flying, and I'll be right back. Okay. It was actually the Three of Cups, which is sort of interesting. It's an interesting cup, or an interesting card, because of course the Three of Cups can be about celebration, but it can also be about overindulgence. So here we go. Come on down, because I have a question. Here we go. Impact January 6th hearings, impact January 6th hearings, impact January 6th hearings. Oops. Interesting. Look at what stayed at the bottom, the Nine of Pentacles. So again, it is about, money, luxury, the acquisition of. And that seems to, in pretty clear ways, indicate, the motivation, right? So let's carry on, shall we? There we go. There's that Three of Cups. Obviously, it has a story to tell. Ooh, here comes Judgment. Ace of Cups. Five of Pentacles. All right. So this is kind of really good news, people. So one of the things that, I'm going to pull this card back because it has a message. One of the things that people are really understanding from the hearings, particularly after Mondays, was how big the grift was. I mean, $250 million from low donation donors. That is a huge amount of money, and a huge amount of money that was sort of gathered really under false pretenses, because no one can find, first of all, the American Defense Fund, or whatever the heck Trump called it, doesn't even exist. And we know that his legal fees per se have been paid for by the RNC, but certainly money that was gathered from that defense fund has been distributed, but to Trump people and organizations. Oh my God, $60,000 for that Kimberly, whatever her name is, to do a 2-minute speech on January 6th. Wow, I wish I could get that kind of a gig, you know? Because, $60,000 at 2 minutes, I could really, retire very comfortably in like an hour. So, what I'm saying is that that was actually a really important part of what is coming out. And frankly, what is going to have a really big impact on people. Generally speaking, there are two things that people really, really take exception to. One of them is being lied to, and one of them is being stolen from. Well, those two high notes are really getting hammered home by the J6 committee. That's the judgment that's being passed. And the reality is it's getting people upset. More and more people, as this goes on, more and more people are kind of tuning in. And you know what? I actually think it was a really good idea that the hearing that was supposed to take place, I think it was this morning, has been canceled and sort of reshifted to another date, I guess next week or whenever. Because if the you don't want this stuff crammed together too closely, because then you don't really have a chance to process it all, because it's coming at you at 100 miles an hour. And for a lot of us, we sort of rely on the networks to sort of bring some clarity or put the package together for us a little bit more than what we are gathering as we're watching it. And they need to have the time to sort of go round and round and round with it, because it allows more people exposure to what was said. So I actually think it was a really good idea that the whole sort of process thing has been slowed down a little bit, because it gives people a chance. Maybe you just were busy on Wednesday, maybe stuff was going on or whatever, and you're having a chance to sort of assimilate the information. So what we're doing, what we continue to discover, is that it really was the overindulgences, the greed, the holding on to power by any means. And what is happening is you have this sort of, out in the cold kind of following judgment, you have this card where it really does look like some of those people who deserve to be out in the cold are really going to feel the impact of it. And, this is the thing. And I think this is going to become more and more apparent as the days kind of go on. So listen, we've all screwed up in our life. We've all had bad judgment in our life, et cetera, et cetera. And we have seen our mistakes. We have, tried to correct our mistakes. That's just part of being human, right? But what's going on now with some of those closest Trump advisors is, well, on the one hand, I congratulate them for finally speaking truth when they were in government, okay? The reality of it is right now, they are moving themselves or trying to position themselves so that they are, whitewashed a little bit, if you will. Because, I kept thinking about that phrase, and I'm paraphrasing it, and I can't remember who said it, but you're all familiar with the phrase. All it takes for evil to flourish is a few good men who do nothing. Now, I use the term good men with some of these Republicans kind of loosely, but the point remains. It's funny how when they could have done something to stop the craziness, they didn't. But 18 months later, when they're under oath and testifying, it's surprising how many of them were trying their hardest to get Trump to stop doing what he was doing, to stop, Giuliani from feeding all this nonsense into Trump's sponge-like brain. Of course, it's only a sponge when you're saying what he wants you to hear, but however. So while I am on behalf of Americans, really grateful for the fact that they sort of had their come to Jesus moment and figured out they should tell the truth. It is discouraging that it's only now that they're getting around to saying something. And that Stephen, I think is his first name, that Stephen, the guy who was, I guess, one of the campaign managers, maybe, who was telling Trump, no, you can't announce that you've won, you haven't won, there's still counting ballots, etc. He is also running the campaign for the woman who is primarying Liz Cheney's seat in Wyoming. So, good on you for coming out and telling the truth, except kind of, what is that? A leopard doesn't change his spots, right? So, I'm not saying that we should belittle that what they've done, as Andre has been saying, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. I don't necessarily disagree, but let's keep some clear-eyed, glasses on this situation and recognize that in some ways, these people are just trying to reposition themselves in a way so that they kind of look like maybe they are on the better side of history. Oh, what a surprise that the devil shows up. I mean, really, how shocking. So, again, it's greed. It is, not really wanting to speak truth to power. And they're all kind of trying to paint it like they did. They were the brave one. They spoke truth to power. But, saying, as in Bill Barr's case, we found no evidence of voter fraud. But wow, Donald Trump, thank you so much. It was such an honor to be your attorney general. You know what I mean? It's like it's. I don't have to finish the statement. You get it. But God bless the women, because women in particular who have been paying attention or are who now paying attention, they are the ones who are going to really, really react in a strong, efficient, and effective way going forward. They're sort of almost like maternal um, instincts to sort of protect and heal. Those kind of energies are going to go a long way as we move towards the midterms, whether it is Lauren Boebert being so hypercritical, whether it is people who are saying enough is enough with these jokers who are trying to take away my rights, whether it be voting or whether it be my own body or whether it be gun regulation. um, it is going to be, kind of in some ways like a replay of the Women's March that took place right after Trump went into office. So, and I'm not just counting for a second the legal minds, the female, legal minds who are going after him. They are a force to be reckoned with, let me tell you. But just overall, generally speaking, women are going to be reacting to this in a way that, frankly, can only hurt the Republicans who have been so caught up in their own greed and their own quest for power and dominance. It's not going to end up working well for them. It's going to be a lot more information that apparently comes out about, dark money, backroom deals, that kind of thing. And again, that is going to have a significant impact. And this is the thing you have to remember. Like, we're in the hearings, we are getting the information that they are presenting to us in that 2-hour block of time. But there is all of the documentation, all of the other information that either is becoming accessible or will be accessible as the hearings themselves wrap up. And if you don't think that the journalists and the investigative reporters are not going to be digging through that stuff and telling the public more and more about what couldn't be presented, This is going to go on all summer long and into the fall, and it's going to have a significant impact. It really does feel like even after the hearings are over, there's going to be a whole lot more information that comes out. And the information that comes out is going to be like cataclysmic, okay? So not only has the foundation, not only of the Republican Party, but a lot of the foundations of a lot of people who just refuse to see the truth, or frankly, we're too busy to pay attention to the truth. And, life is hard. That's kind of fair. But not only has that foundation been really shaken up and will continue to be shaken up as the hearings go forward, but above and beyond that, you are also going to have more and more information that continues to come out and continues to come out throughout the summer and into the fall. So, it really does feel like when it comes right down to it, a lot of people have, um, are doing what they're doing because they're trying really, really hard to hang on to their positions, their power, their proximity to power, whatever it is. But ultimately, a lot of that information, a lot of that sort of bad news, if you will, that's just going to all bubble to the surface, and more of it is going to be talked about and made public. Speaking of which, I'm just going to digress for a second. So, on a regular basis, people want to know if Trump has blackmail, evidence on the Republicans, and that's why he has such a stranglehold on them. I have maintained, and to this day I continue to say, he does not. I'll tell you why. He has too big a mouth. This guy can't shut up about anything. Do you think that if he had dirt on McConnell or Cruz or whoever else he's after, he wouldn't be shouting it from the rooftops? Now, that's not the same as Putin not having information on compromise from Putin. I do not for a second believe that Trump has blackmail material on, because otherwise he would have told us, for God's sakes. He would have told us. This guy can't keep anything quiet. I mean, I'm remembering when Melania sort of vanished from public sight for a while, and his statement to the public was, "Listen, it's not like she had a facelift or anything." Okay, let's try to remember who we're actually dealing with. Why Trump had the kind of power he had was because he was able to connect with people's greed and connect with people who maybe didn't think they were getting all they should have. And whether that was, the disillusioned coal miner, or whether that was a senator, he was able to play on people's need for security, for greed, to have more. And all of those who, for whatever reason, felt disenfranchised because they, felt that they weren't getting their fair shake, those were the people who were attracted to him and who glommed onto him. And because his behavior only became more and more extreme as time went on, that was how he managed to hold on to them. So that is just my feeling on it. It has always been my feeling on it. And it hasn't shaken because he gave codes to Russia. Okay. This is a man who can't keep quiet. If you stuffed a firecracker in his mouth and told him not to move or it would blow up. I'm just saying. Got the hangman here. So this is about finding out some of the stuff that was done, and like it's about sacrifices, but I'm actually not feeling it in sort of an altruistic way. What was sacrificed? Thank you. What was sacrificed was the law of the land. What was sacrificed was women's rights, voter rights, gun legislation rights. Let's not forget. One of the very first things that Trump did when he was in office was he removed the restrictions from people who were mentally ill and had been classified as such to get guns. Those were the kind of sacrifices that were being made. And those are the kind of things that we're going to continue to hear about. They were willing to blow up the Constitution because they were greedy. It was about the money, people. It was about the money. It's always about money. Okay? So, are we going to get through this? Yeah. Are we likely to end up, being able to move forward and kind of begin new? And it doesn't mean go back to the beginning. It means like to create something that is stronger going forward. It looks like we are, okay? And it looks like ultimately there's going to be a price to be paid for those people who really felt that, they were more entitled than anybody else. Well, I guess they're going to come to find out that, what's that catchy little phrase? No man is above the law. Okay. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this video and the thumbs ups and all of it, all of it, all of it. I'm so appreciative of it. So like I said, tomorrow on Thursday, there's going to be another video put out looking at sort of democracy and can it be saved? And unless my world blows up between now and then, I will see you on Friday also. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be around. And then, of course, on Saturday, the Pick Your Crystal readings will come out. Until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.